There is a moment that happens to millions of people after the age of 60. You sit down at the end of the day, you pull off your socks, and suddenly you notice the marks, deep grooves around your ankles, shoes tighter than they were this morning, feet heavier than they used to feel, and maybe without even thinking. You press your thumb into the skin above your ankle bone, then you wait, and the dent stays there, a little crater in your own skin. Sometimes for 10 seconds, sometimes longer. Most people see that and think one of three things: too much salt, too much water. Or, I guess this is just aging. But what if none of that is the real problem? What if your swollen ankles are not actually about water at all, but about a drainage system inside your body that almost nobody has ever explained to you? Because tonight, while you are sleeping, that trapped fluid is going to move back into your bloodstream. Your kidneys will suddenly wake up and try to clear it. You will wake up at 2 a.m., maybe again at 4 a.m., and by morning, you will feel exhausted. Then by evening, your ankles swell again. The cycle repeats over and over. But there is something fascinating researchers discovered about this process for the majority of adults over 60 with mild to moderate ankle swelling. The issue is not usually the heart itself, it is movement. More specifically, a hidden circulation system that completely depends on muscle activity to work. And when that system slows down, fluid quietly begins collecting in the lower legs hour by hour, until your ankles become the storage tank. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what is happening, why water pills often fail, why sitting after dinner makes swelling dramatically worse, and the simple bedtime routine that can completely change how your legs feel in as little as 2 weeks. And I need you to stay with me until the end, because the final technique takes less than 2 minutes, requires no equipment, and activates the exact drainage pathway most swollen ankles are missing. My name is Dr. Sean Dosbo, and after this video, you will never look at swollen ankles the same way again. Before we go further, I need to make something very clear. There are situations where ankle swelling is dangerous. If one leg suddenly swells more than the other, especially with redness, warmth, or pain, that can be a blood clot. If swelling comes with shortness of breath, chest pressure, or trouble breathing while lying flat, that can point toward heart strain. And if swelling appears suddenly with rapid weight gain or foamy urine, you need medical evaluation. This video is for the much more common pattern: slow, gradual, symmetrical swelling that gets worse through the day and improves overnight. Because that pattern usually points somewhere completely different, and understanding that difference changes everything. Your body actually runs 2 separate fluid systems. Most people only know about the first one: blood circulation. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, veins bring it back, and your heart pumps automatically every second of your life. But there is another circulation system running beside it, a second network almost nobody talks about. It is called the lymphatic system, and this system has one enormous weakness. It has no pump, no heart, no automatic engine, nothing moving fluid for you. Yet every single day, several liters of fluid leak out of your tiny blood vessels into surrounding tissue. That fluid bathes your cells, carries away waste, moves immune cells, clears damaged proteins, and eventually, it must travel back into circulation through the lymphatic system. But because there is no pump, only one thing moves it: movement. Every time your calf muscles contract, they squeeze lymph vessels upward. Every step, every ankle flex, every walk to the bathroom acts like a pump. And here's the part almost nobody realizes. When you sit still for long periods, that drainage system slows dramatically. The conveyor belt almost stops. Fluid begins quietly pooling in the soft tissue around your ankles. Not all at once, a little every hour. So slowly you never feel it happening until evening arrives, and your shoes suddenly feel tighter than they did this morning. Now here is where aging changes the equation. At 40, your lymphatic system is forgiving. You can sit through a long car ride, a flight, an afternoon in a recliner, and your body usually catches up quickly afterward. But after 60, three things start happening simultaneously. First, the walls of lymph vessels become stiffer. They lose elasticity. Second, the tiny one-way valves inside those vessels become weaker. Fluid begins slipping backward instead of moving upward efficiently. And third, the tissue around the ankles starts holding fluid more easily, almost like a sponge. So now fluid enters tissue faster and drains slower. That is why swelling suddenly appears later in life. Even if your habits stayed mostly the same, this is not weakness. It is mechanics, and mechanics can be improved. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming swollen ankles automatically mean too much water. So they start drinking less, especially after dinner, and unfortunately, that often makes the problem worse because dehydrated lymph fluid becomes thicker, more sluggish, harder to move. Think about syrup versus water. One flows easily, one barely moves. Your lymphatic system behaves similarly. This is why many people notice something strange. The less water they drink, the heavier their legs actually feel. Researchers found consistent hydration helps maintain lymph flow efficiency, especially in older adults. But timing matters. Instead of flooding yourself with water at night, you want steady hydration through the daytime, especially afternoon hours. That supports circulation before swelling begins accumulating. Now let's talk about sodium, because sodium absolutely matters, but not in the way most people think. The salt shaker is usually not the main issue. Hidden sodium is processed foods, canned soups, frozen dinners, bread, cheese, restaurant meals, deli meats, condiments. These foods quietly pull water into surrounding tissue, and most people consume far more sodium than they realize. Without ever tasting obvious saltiness, your body holds extra fluid to dilute that sodium load. And gravity sends much of it directly downward, into the ankles, into the feet, into the calves, especially after hours of sitting. This is why some people wake up looking relatively normal, then progressively swell as the day goes on. The fluid is accumulating gradually with gravity. And now we need to talk about the recliner, because this surprises almost everyone. The most damaging part of the day for ankle swelling is often the 3 hours after dinner, not because sitting is evil, but because it combines three powerful forces together. You are digesting food, blood flow shifts, movement decreases dramatically, and gravity pulls fluid downward continuously. This creates the perfect environment for fluid accumulation, especially in people whose lymphatic system already drains slowly. Then something fascinating happens the moment you lie down to sleep. Gravity disappears. That trapped fluid suddenly moves back towards circulation. Your kidneys detect the extra fluid and begin filtering aggressively. That is why so many people over 60 wake repeatedly to urinate during the night. Not because they drank too much water, but because the fluid trapped in their legs finally returned to circulation. Then morning comes. You lose fluid overnight. Your ankles look somewhat better. And the cycle starts again. There was a woman named Margaret who perfectly illustrates this. Margaret spent decades working as a nurse. She understood edema, heart failure, fluid retention. She had seen it all professionally. So when her own ankles started swelling in her 70s, she assumed it was her heart. Her tests came back normal. Excellent heart function, but she was still given a diuretic, water pills, and for months, nothing truly improved. She urinated constantly, felt drained, exhausted, still swollen every evening. Then her daughter convinced her to visit Italy for 2 weeks. And something remarkable happened. Margaret walked everywhere, not as exercise, just naturally. Markets, cobblestone streets, stairs, sidewalks, daily movement. By the 4th day, her swelling had almost disappeared. She slept through the night. Her legs felt lighter. Her shoes fit comfortably again. Then she returned home, sat back into her old routine, and within days, the swelling returned. That was the moment she realized the truth. Her body did not need stronger medication. It needed movement because her drainage system had quietly gone inactive. Now I want to show you the simplest self-test you can do at home. Press your thumb firmly into the skin above your ankle bone for 15 seconds. Then let go. Watch how long the dent remains. If the skin rebounds immediately, that is mild fluid retention. If the dent lingers for 20 to 30 seconds, fluid accumulation is becoming significant. If it stays longer than a minute, your tissue is heavily saturated. That is called pitting edema. And while it sounds alarming, it is extremely common after 60, especially when lymphatic drainage slows down. Now check something else. Try pinching the skin on the top of your foot. If the skin lifts easily, that is generally reassuring. But if the tissue feels thick, dense, almost impossible to pinch upward, that strongly suggests lymphatic congestion. Again, not always dangerous, but important because it tells you where the problem is actually happening. So what improves lymphatic drainage naturally? First, calf movement. Your calves are sometimes called the second heart for a reason. Every contraction pushes fluid upward. Walking helps tremendously. Even 5 to 10 minutes before dinner can change evening swelling. Not after dinner, before. Second, ankle mobility. Simple ankle pumps restart fluid movement almost immediately. Point your toes downward, then flex them back upward repeatedly. This activates the calf muscles without even standing. Third, deep breathing. And this part is fascinating. Your main lymphatic drainage vessel sits behind the diaphragm. Every deep breath creates pressure changes that literally help pump lymph upward. Slow breathing is not relaxation alone. It is mechanical drainage support. Fourth, leg elevation, but there is a right way to do it. Most people elevate their legs slightly in a recliner. That is usually not enough. The legs must rise above heart level. That angle matters because gravity becomes your assistant instead of your enemy. Now let me show you the nighttime routine that changes everything for many people. 90 minutes before bed, lie down on your bed or floor. Place both legs straight up against a wall, hips close to the wall, legs elevated vertically. Stay there for 10 minutes. While you are there, slowly flex your ankles back and forth, 20 repetitions. Then do slow ankle circles, 10 each direction. And while doing this, breathe deeply through your nose, slowly, calmly. This combination activates 3 drainage mechanisms simultaneously: gravity, muscle pumping, and diaphragmatic lymph flow. After several minutes, many people suddenly feel the urge to urinate. That is not coincidence. The fluid trapped in tissue has begun returning to circulation. You are clearing it before sleep, instead of your kidneys forcing you awake at 2 a.m. Then when you finish, roll slowly to your side, sit up carefully, and massage upward from ankle toward knee using gentle strokes, always toward the heart, never downward. This supports manual lymph movement. The entire process takes only minutes. But consistency matters more than intensity. And there is one more technique I want you to start tomorrow morning, before your feet even touch the floor. Do 20 ankle pumps while lying in bed, because after 8 hours of stillness, fluid is ready to rush downward the moment you stand. Those ankle movements restart circulation before gravity takes over. Most people ignore the first 30 seconds of the morning, but physiologically, they matter tremendously. Now, how long does improvement take? Some people notice lighter legs within days, reduced nighttime urination within 1 week, less visible swelling in 2 weeks, but structural improvements take consistency. This is not about forcing fluid out temporarily. It is about retraining a drainage system that became inactive, and the body responds remarkably well to repeated signals. Movement, breathing, elevation, hydration, less hidden sodium, those small daily actions compound faster than most people expect. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Do the thumb press test. Notice how long the dent remains. Tomorrow morning, start with the ankle pumps before standing. Tomorrow evening, walk 5 minutes before dinner. Then do the legs up the wall routine before bed. And in 2 weeks, Repeat the thumb test again, because the difference will tell you something important. Your body is not failing. It is adapting to mechanics, and mechanics can change. Swollen ankles after 60 are often not about weakness, not about age itself, not even about the heart. They are frequently about a silent drainage system waiting for movement again. And once you understand that, everything starts making sense. I'm Dr. Sean Dosbo, and if this helped you understand your body differently, leave a comment below and tell me, how long have your ankles been swelling, and what time of day is it worst?